Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Gold EDU weekly show, and this one is a gold mine of information. So let us know where you're joining from in the chat so that we can connect further. That would be awesome. So how today's session is going to work is it's similar to sessions I've done on Global's channel. I'm just kind of moving it to Gold's channel for just some more. And yes, they will still be on Globals because they're not as frequent, but I wanted to do these weekly. And so they are going to be on this channel probably weekly unless for some reason something comes up. So how this is going to work is you will get a choice board. So here's the choice board for tonight. And you as a group of educators watching will decide which choice you would like me to present on. And it's 15 minutes. So if that means I spend one whole thing, 15 minutes on number 3, I spend 15 minutes on number 3. Typically, I can do these all in like 5 minutes. But if there's questions, just pop them in as they come up. And let's go ahead and get started. So I threw the Google form in the chat. Go ahead and click open that Google form. And what you're going to do with that Google form is you're going to fill it out. So you can vote as many times as you want, and you're going to pick which option you think sounds interesting or something that you want to learn more about. So tonight we've got some do now, thin slides, using your tech coordinator, game of quotes, brain dumps, Iron Chef, the Great American Race, share and compare, Friendemojis, sketch and tell, waterfalls, math, write about it. And so you'll just kind of vote for which option you think sounds best. And we already have some votes in. And again, keep voting because we'll use this same Google Sheet throughout the whole night. So if we are able to get this first option done, we will just keep going. All right, so we got our first one in. It's this 50% option 11. So we're going to go ahead and look at option 11, which is waterfall. So waterfall is a really cool strategy. I got this idea from one of my friends, Shannon Moore, and I'm sure she reads a ton of books, so she read it from somewhere. So with Waterfall Chat, what you do is the students, they listen carefully for the question. Once they hear that question, they get a second to process how they're going to answer that question. And so for an example, the question might be like, what is your favorite food? Okay. You give your students about a couple seconds to maybe a minute to think about how they want to answer that question. Once they have that answer to that question, they are going to respond in the chat, but they will not push send. So they're going to type their answer and not hit send. So some of us are teaching remotely. You can do this with Google Meet, Zoom. Students type in the chat, but they don't hit send. You can do this in your classroom. So if you are in a physical classroom, you might have students use Pear Deck. So they type out their response, but they don't hit send yet. They could use the Google Classroom question. So many different ways that students could use this in person or remotely. Shannon did this remotely with her students when she brought up this strategy to me. And so it was just a really cool way. When the students are prompted, they're going to hit send. Okay, so when the teacher asks, she might have students like unmute and elaborate. Again, if you're in person, it was funny. I was talking to a teacher today, and he was like, what is really difficult is I can't mute all these kids. Like they won't mute. And I just thought it was really funny because I'm into all that kind of stuff. So right here is like one of the questions. Prediction for the day. What will happen in touching Spirit Bear? And so again, students will get their sticky note and they are going to make a prediction about cool. Once they have their answer, they're all going to hit that save button, and then all of a sudden, all these sticky notes start to pop up on a Jamboard. Again, you don't have to use Jamboard. You could use whatever tech tool you wanted for this to kind of happen. And then what we were kind of thinking with this activity is after the students did the waterfall, on this slide, they might do a quick reflection. So 3 thoughts, 2 questions, and 1 thing that might have surprised us. And then group 1 can fill out this one. Group 2 would do this reflection, group 3. And so then students are kind of taking their predictions and they're really thinking more with their group about it. Again, you could use maybe the waterfall with this and have the groups of students do 3 thoughts, type them on your Post-it, then hit send. 2 questions, hit send. I'm going to, at the end of this, I've learned that it's best to create a Wakelet of all the resources because it's a ton of resources. So you will get every single link that I show tonight. It's just going to be at the end. So about 15 minutes after I hit end broadcast, you will be able to review all of the links and resources. But I am going to share them in the chat as I go as well. However, just know if you are like watching from your phone or something like that, you can watch later if you need to. Okay, so then let's go ahead and let's vote again for the next idea that we will want to see. And it looks like we have a 3-way tie right now. So we'll see if we can kind of break that tie. And again, you can vote more than once. No judgment. Oh, now we're at a 4-way tie. There we go. All right, so we got option 4. So option 4 is the game of quotes. This is a really fun one for students that are silently reading. And so what your students will do, it's an edu protocol. And on the game of quotes, students have this slide deck. Okay, you'll just kind of have the students come into class at the beginning or at the end, and they're just going to read their AR book. Maybe they're reading a text from like Newsella, or maybe they're even like reading something that you might have assigned. What you're going to do is have the students read again for about 10 minutes. Then you're going to reveal one of these cards. And there's a couple different cards that you'll reveal to your students. And you could do 1 or you can do multiple rounds. Once your students have the cards, you're going to show them this one, for example, the last thought a bug had before hitting the windshield. Students are going to think about what sentence in that text goes along with the last thought that the bug had before hitting the windshield. So they're going to be looking through their book for the best quote that goes along with this round. Once the first student says, I have it, you're going to start a 2-minute timer. So then 2-minute timer, other students get a chance to find their quote. And then once the 2-minute timer is up, the students are going to share at their table and they're going to vote for who had the best at their table. Then you could do it as the whole class and so on. So just a great way to kind of engage your students in their reading, just to kind of get a clear view of, okay, are they really paying attention? And students might pick up on stuff that they might normally not. So this like round 2, then the kids would do this again. The name of your older brother's really awful garage band. And it just kind of continues. And you could do as many rounds or you could do 1 round each week. I've had teachers that do round like 1 every Friday. So it doesn't take up a whole lot of time. The kids come in, they read for 10 minutes. And then after they read, for 10 minutes, then they find whatever game of quote option comes up. And then the kids, again, they vote for their favorite. And you could have the kids submit through Google Form. You could have them submit just out loud. You could have them submit in a Jamboard. It doesn't really matter. It's just a fun way to engage your students. All right. And it looks like we've got time for another one. So go ahead and keep voting. It looks like option 5, which I believe was brain dumps. So we'll go ahead and get onto that one and keep voting because we might be able to fit in one more after brain dumps. Brain dumps is another really quick activity that you can use with your students. And I'm going to throw this link in the chat as well. And brain dumps goes along with the learning science of the retrieval practice. And so what a brain dump is that you write everything down that you can remember about a certain topic. And so with this template, Meredith Akers created this. She's out of Texas. And I love this template because some brain dumps, kids just write 30 seconds and that's it. Totally fine. They can even sketch out what they're thinking. It doesn't have to be just text. But what Meredith did is she kind of took this brain dump to the next level. And so if we go to the next slide on here, there's 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then a peek and add. So there's like 3 rounds to this brain dump. And here's an example. So the students are going to put their name and then the topic. So today the topic is 3D shapes because we learned it maybe yesterday, and this is going to be the student's entrance ticket. Again, it could be the exit ticket as well. Brain dumps are just really good to kind of see what the students remember in a short amount of time. It can also kind of help their memory long term. So right here, we've got the 30 seconds. Students, you're going to set that timer, and over here, Meredith set multiple timers right into the slide deck. So all you have to do is click, and then it will let you start the timer for 30 seconds. Students are going to jot down as much as they can about the topic for 30 seconds. You're going to pause the timer. And once you pause the timer, you're going to then set it again for a minute. And again, here's the minute timer over to the side. And students are going to sketch or think about as much as they can for a minute. So you're really stretching their brains because they're thinking about what did I really learn? And then you're adding a little bit more time. Now, students might start to kind of struggle at this minute mark. And so right here, you're going to set another timer, and the students are going to peek at another student, and they can kind of use whatever they said in their slide. So students will peek and they will write whatever topics they're thinking about in that other slide, and then they can come back to theirs. So they're able to look at their classmates. And that's why everybody's in the same slide deck. It just makes it easier for them to quickly peek at another student's, jot some ideas and get that in their brain, and then they can go back to their slide and work on that. So in Google Classroom, you would assign this for every single student. So that is another great one. All right, looks like we have time for one more. And let's see what the winner is. Option 9. I don't think we've done that one yet. Friendemojis. Looks like that one's the winner. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Friendemojis. And with Friendemojis, Luis is amazing, of course. And so Luis created this amazing Google Sheet. Right here, you can make a copy of it, and I'll share this whole link in the chat. And so you'll make a copy of the Friendemoji page, and all of your students or your teacher friends can add to this Friendemoji Google sheet. So everybody's going to type their name once it loads. Okay, let's see if it loaded. So your teachers will type their name. They're going to get their Bitmoji image link. And to get that, they do need the Chrome extension on their computer. They're going to click that extension and a little pop-up's going to pop up. And they're going to just click one of the images. So like this one right here, they're going to right click. So 2 fingers, 1 click, and they're going to copy the image address. They're going to paste that image address right here. And there, let me go ahead and move the directions that Luis made. And all the directions are over here too. I like people to add their Twitter handle just so they can connect, but you don't have to if you don't want your teachers to. And then once everybody's in this spreadsheet, you can go to the mix and match tab and I can search. Maybe I wanted to do myself. So again, I could do myself. I'm going to do Luis because I love him. And right here, I can click the link and I will be able to see all of these amazing friend emojis that I can now use on Google Classroom. So if I'm making like a Google slide with a co-teacher, we can add all of these fun friend emojis to that slide. Maybe I am working on a video. We've had teachers add these to WeVideo. And you can also search. So like if I search excited, maybe that wasn't a good example. Maybe food. There we go. And then you can see all of the images with food coming up. So then I could say, oh, this grilled cheese one, maybe we're doing something on like being cheesy. So I could like add that to our slide deck. So again, just a really fun way to get your teachers. And there is a video if you need to see it in action. And then here's like an example that I use with my teachers. So just a really fun way for teachers to add their Bitmojis and become friend emojis. All right, that was a lot. And again, I'm going to go ahead and open up this tab and I'm going to throw all of these amazing links onto this Wakelet collection that you will be able to go back and review. And again, we'll be back next Monday. So make sure you save the date and subscribe so that you get all the notifications. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining.